I feel like I found my tribe when I listen to South African booktubers or generally African booktubers. I just like, oh my gosh, we are within Rimathing. Hi, my name's Joella, and today I'm going to talk about my ride or die books. These books have been with me through it all, through sadness, through happiness, through many moments of my life, and I feel that these books just deserve all the love. This is basically going to be like a recommendation video in some way. I won't give a synopsis for each of these books, but I will talk about the themes related in these books, or rather just like the big thing that drew me to the book, what made my heart go gagum 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 gagum. Also, I was tagged by the Dreamy Reader, and I appreciate, thank you so much. Yeah, let me start this tag and begin. First is the BFF, and this book, not everyone loved it, and as the years passed since its release, more people don't like it, but I really enjoyed it. Did I like the whole series? Absolutely not. I hated the third book in the series, absolutely terrible. But this book, the first one, I loved it to death, and it has to be this. Thorns and Roses was just so good. I don't know why everyone hates it. I loved it. I loved Tamlin with all my heart. I feel like the fandom did him dirty. Everyone hates him. The author did him dirty too. I care for Tamlin. Everyone else hates him. I think that's why this book gets so much like hate. But I really liked it. I mean, at the time, I really liked it. And still now, actually, if I reread this now, I think I'd still enjoy it. Because I think I have a bias for Beauty and the Beast retellings. And I'm a sucker for it. I just love it. Also the cover. This is honestly the best cover in the series. Like, let's not lie and act like the other ones are better. No, this one's better. You know it. I know it. We all know it. Next is the book that I would take on a long ride. Like, I would take it on a plane. I'd take it on in the car, in a bus. And it has to be this. Tarzan of the Apes. I love this so much. I want to read the entire series. Edgar Rice has a writing that really puts you in there. You immerse into this jungle world in West Africa. It's so beautiful. His writing style makes you like read slowly. At least for me, I read really slowly while reading his writing style because it is kind of old, but not that old. It's not like really hard to read, but it makes you read slow. I could read this anywhere. I really could. I'm hoping to get the entire series in the same like cover style. That's all I have to say. Also, Tarzan is bae. Tarzan and I are getting married. Tarzan and I are actually in the middle of our lobola exchange. So, you know, I love Tarzan with all my heart. Jay, they got it wrong. It wasn't Jane, it was Joella. That's who he marries. Me. With his robustly proportioned body. Next is The Newcomer. This is a book that's new to me and I love it so much, even though it was published a while ago, and that's Coconut. I love this book with all my heart. It talks about racism and the word coconut being black on the outside and white on the inside, black on the outside. It talks about the racial tensions and the racial, like the repercussions of apartheid in South Africa. Even though it was written in 2007, it's still very relevant in conversations about race now and the racial tensions that can still be cut with a knife in the air. You can see that I really enjoyed it. It's written so beautifully and it's so smart the way it was written. I talk about it all day long and it's worth the read. I hope you do look into this if you're interested. I think it'll be an interesting read if you aren't South African and if you don't know much about apartheid, or rather what happened after, because I think everyone can say, oh yeah, apartheid is over, yay, but like this book really reflects a lot of what's currently happening with the discussions of race now, and it does it so beautifully, and I feel very much connected to this book. If you've ever been called a coconut growing up, you understand this book will touch you and it'll hit places in your heart and in your memories you forgot about, and it does it so beautifully in such a almost like dialogue kind of situation and with flashbacks, and it's like an interactive read. And if you have been called the word coconut in your lifetime, I also wanted to mention that the book with Coconut, it does talk about how the word coconut, someone can be a victim to that word and also can perpetuate the wrongness of that word by either ignoring it or owning that title of being a coconut. And the way it's talked about is in a non-attacking kind of way to the reader, but it does address the issue in a way that you can almost watch what's happening and watch what's unfolding around the characters, and you realize the parallels maybe in your own life. And for me, it really touched me because these are things I've seen happen, and it's interesting to see it in a book. So that's something to look at also. Another one is also Skyward. I can't stop talking about it. I really enjoyed it. I didn't tab it, but I did like it. So that's also one to keep in mind. Really good little sci-fi series going on here. Next is The Quiet One. And this has to be Everything, everything. The Quiet One is the book that you just kind of go to when you want peace of mind, and it has to be this one. I have quite a few that I go to when I want peace of mind, and that's The Wrath and the Dawn and The Forbidden Wish. I love all three of these books very much, and I think maybe it's because I read them at a time when I wanted peace, I don't know, or I was feeling something, and I don't know why, but these books really make me feel peaceful again. I don't know what it is, but yeah, everything, everything. Good on. Next is the book that is outgoing, the one that you can read in public, you don't mind, and that has to be poetry books. These two specifically because I reread them the most. Peaceful with reading poetry outdoors, mostly because I don't have to focus too much, and I'm a pretty anxious human being, so I need to know what's going on around me, and I can't stop myself from checking what's going on around me, and I don't want to have to focus on one thing and then get bamboozled by the thing that's right next to me. So I take poetry out, and these are two poetry books I did enjoy. The Last Time I'll Write About You by Dawn Lazor and Helium by Ruby Francisco. Really enjoyed both of them, and I reread them quite often, and in poetry in general I could read outside. Also, what I could read outside is this one book. I read it just a few months ago, and that was Mad Love. It's all about Harley Quinn and the Joker, and I absolutely love it.
Ow, Mr. J, you work too hard. Don't you want to get up and rev your Harley? Vroom, 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 vroom.
I love this book. If you're not familiar with the DC world, I recommend reading the comics first. In general, everyone should read the comics first and then watch the show because it was really good, and then read this book just to put the cherry on top, because something about being in her head is just so exciting, and most importantly, seeing how she was manipulated, and also we see her childhood and how she was brought up that affects how she just, you know, it's just so well done, and just seeing her evolve into this mess of a human being, but also so exciting. It's beautiful, and I strongly recommend reading this book. Also, it's part of a series, and I want to read all three of these books 100%, hopefully before like April next year. I'd love to have read all of them. Yeah. Next is The Guilty Pleasure, and these are romance heavy books. I have been the advocate for hating romance books, but now I'm changed. I'm a changed human being, and these books make my heart go ga-gum ga-gum, and I don't like the fact that it does that, but it does, and it's a pleasure that I feel slightly guilty about. It's all because of this book. It made me realize I enjoy reading romance, and that's so weird for me, but I tabbed it. I loved it. It was so smutty, and that's how I like it. I feel so weird. It's super smutty. Things happen. It takes the levels. It's up here. It's up here. It's smuttiness. Not the worst, but it hits something. Also, this one, which I read years before I read Get Alive, Chloe Brown, but it's also very romance heavy, and it makes my heart beat so fast. It's like I'm there and I'm in love, and Khalid, and too much love here. And it's also one of my favorite tropes. Not of tropes, but rather story what can I say, inspirations of 1001 Nights, or for me more the story of Esther and her one night with the king, and the king of Persia, and that whole thing of her marrying a king and then assisting him in rule and all that. I really loved that whole, you know, thing going on here, that element of story of 1001 Nights, and for me, the inspiration coming from Esther, from the Bible. So that's something just to think about. Next is The Stranger. This is the book that no one has read, but I love so much, and I wish more people read it. And that's this book, The Frog Theory. It's so good. Why isn't anyone reading this book? I really love this book. I wish more people have read it, and I really enjoy the author, her writing style, and she follows me on Twitter, so I feel very good right now. It's really short. It's the size of a pencil, to be honest, and it's worth it. It really is worth the read. As small as it is, it hits a punch, and the title makes so much sense when you finish the book. It's a book about so many things. I'd recommend watching my video about it, because I really go more in depth about the book there. Next is that The Book Was Better. This is a book that was adapted into a film, but I prefer the book, and that has to be Everything, Everything. I really loved the book. I don't know why the movie, actually I do know why the movie didn't do it for me. I think when it comes to a story that deals such an intimate topic of being sick and also new love, I prefer being in the character's head, whereas in a movie, when you watch it, I feel more distance between me and the character, and it's more like I'm watching her live than experiencing it with her in a book. And I guess that's why I enjoyed the book more. But there could be other reasons why, but I still love the movie. I rewatch it on occasion. Like when it was on Netflix, I was there all day, every day. But the book will always be better for me. And I maybe just love the book too much. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Next is the author or authors in my case that I will buy everything for. And let me just tell you all of them. First is Kopano Matlwa, and she's the one who wrote Coconut. And I really, really want to read the rest of her work, especially Spilt Milk. I really want to read Spilt Milk. I think she has a third one. At least I think so. I will check. I'll double check, but I really want to read Spilt Milk. I love her writing style, and I just want to read whatever she writes, be it her grocery list, her to-do list, whatever. Next is Brandon Sanderson. I really enjoy Brandon Sanderson's writing. I think his storytelling element in fantasy is very easy to read, and as the world gets bigger and gets more complex, you won't feel too lost, at least if you're concentrating. Next is Jim Butcher, his Dresden Files series. I will buy 10 of them and then sit for a month and read them all. That's how committed I am to this man. Next is Sebastian de Castell. He wrote the Spell Slinger series that I love it too much, and I wish more people read it. I wish more people read it. And also people really know him for his Grey Coats series, or is it Grey Coats Saga? Those 4 books is a quartet. Very, very, very much want to read that one. So that's also on the list of, like, you know, I'll auto buy this author. Just really good writing. Lastly is Rene Adie. She wrote The Wrath and the Dawn, and I haven't read any of her other books besides this duology, but I do want to read her The Beautiful. It's about vampires and stuff in New Orleans, and also her Mulan retelling. I'd really love to get to that duology as well. So she's definitely an auto-buy author. I just haven't had the chance to buy the rest of her books. Yes, these are all the authors and these are all the books. I hope you enjoyed this, and I get to tag a couple, actually 3 booktubers that I do enjoy watching. So let's do this quickly. I gotta go. First is A Time to Share Books, very active on her booktube, and I really appreciate that. She's a South African booktuber, and I don't know, I enjoy her videos. She has really intellectual conversations regarding the books that she reads, and she's quite a diverse reader, and I enjoy. Yeah. Next is Offense. I really love her channel. I don't know why, but every time she posts a video, I tend to watch it twice because I just enjoy her personality. I think also because she's South African. When I hear her accent, I feel like I'm home. I don't know what it is. Watching someone on YouTube and you hear your own accent is just, or like accents that you've heard in real life, and they talk about things that you understand and places that they've gone that you've gone to. There's something about it, and just that sense of familiarity is what I really feel with her. So I love her channel, and I hope she does this tag. Next is Elena the Great. I really loved Elena. She talks about books in such an intelligent way, and she reads a lot of books. She doesn't just read one genre. She's definitely, like, you know, spread out as myself, you know. And every time she talks about a book that she loves, for some reason I just trust her. I don't know why, but I trust her. Ooh, lastly, I also wanna tag Susan. Susan is reading. I really love Susan. She's a very fun personality. She doesn't post that often, at least at the moment, but I want her to post more. I enjoy Susan very much. She just talks about books in a way that's more fun and casual, and I think that just adds to her charm. So yes, these are all the booktubers. I hope you enjoyed them. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for chilling with me. I'm gonna go now, and you're gonna go now. So goodbye.